Number 1. Sears. You're 8 years old, holding your mother's hand, walking through doors into a store so big it had its own restaurant, its own candy counter, its own smell, wood polish, and perfume, and popcorn. That was Sears. It wasn't a store. It was the store. For most of a century, Sears was the largest retailer on the face of the earth. The catalog alone could put a watch, a dress, a stove, even an entire house on your doorstep anywhere in America, decades before anyone said the word online. Sears invented what the internet sells you today: delivery of everything, satisfaction promised, and it had it working when your grandparents were kids. So what happened? 2 decisions, both from inside. In 1993, Sears shut down the big catalog, the delivery machine it had spent 100 years building, right before the internet would have made it priceless. Then a hedge fund manager took over the whole company and spent years selling off the family silver, the brands, the buildings, the land under the stores, while the stores themselves starved. A handful of locations are technically still hanging on today, but the empire was long gone before the last doors closed. Sears did not lose to Amazon. Sears was Amazon, and it quit 5 minutes before the game started. And one more thing before we go on. One of the dead stores, Coming Pup, invented something so ordinary that you touched it this week without knowing you were touching a gravestone. That one's last. Number 2. Montgomery Ward. Sears had one great rival, and your grandmother probably just called it Ward's. This company started it all. In 1872, Aaron Montgomery Ward mailed out the very first general catalog in America, one single sheet of paper, and he backed it with a promise nobody had ever made before. Satisfaction guaranteed, or your money back. That sentence, the one printed on half the things you buy today, was invented right there. So, how does a company like that die? It got scared. After the war, the man running it, Sewell Avery, became convinced a depression was coming and sat on the company's cash for years. No new stores, no suburbs, no growth, just waiting for a crash that never came, while Sears built stores next to every new highway in America. There's a famous photograph of soldiers carrying Avery out of his own office, still sitting in his chair, arms folded. He kept the job, kept the cash, and the company that invented the money-back guarantee sat out the biggest boom in American history. The name got revived years later as an online catalog, so you might still get a Ward's flyer in the mail. But the Wards your grandmother knew, the one with the doors and the counters and the promise, that one ended in that chair. Number 3. Kmart. Here's a fact that sounds made up. Kmart and Walmart opened their first stores in the same year, 1962. Twins, born months apart. And for almost 30 years, Kmart was the bigger one. The blue light special, that spinning police light on a pole, and the voice on the speaker, "Attention Kmart shoppers." That was an American ritual. People ran. So why is one twin the biggest company on earth, while the other is down to a last few stores most Americans will never see? trucks, and computers. While Kmart spent its money buying up other store chains, Walmart quietly spent its money on warehouses, trucking routes, and computer systems that knew where every can of soup was at every minute. Nobody claps for a warehouse. But when the price war came, one twin could always go a nickel lower, and a nickel, repeated a billion times, is the whole fight. Kmart didn't lose on the sales floor. It lost in the loading dock. Number 4. Gimbels. If you're of a certain age, you remember the phrase, "Does Macy's tell Gimbels?" The two of them were the great department store feud, side by side in New York, fighting over every customer, immortalized in Miracle on 34th Street. Here's the part history quietly forgot. The Thanksgiving parade, the one we all think of as belonging to Macy's. Gimbels did it first. Philadelphia, 1920, 4 years before Macy's ever marched. Gimbels died in 1987, folded up by owners who wanted the real estate more than the stores. But that parade it invented never stopped. Philadelphia still marches it every single Thanksgiving under new sponsors, and almost nobody watching knows they're carrying on a dead store's tradition. And if you think that's something, stay with me, because the last store on this list hid its invention in plain sight even better. Number 5. Service merchandise. This one, if you know, you know. The catalog showroom. Strangest shopping experience in America, and we all thought it was normal. You walked in, looked at one display model of everything, a watch, a blender, a ring, then filled out a little slip of paper with a tiny pencil, handed it to a clerk, and waited by the conveyor belt. And then, the magic. Your item came riding out of the back like luggage at the airport, and every kid pressed against the rail to watch for it. It was theater. It was also, look closely, a website before websites. Browse the samples, place the order, wait for delivery. When actual websites arrived and delivered to your door instead of a conveyor belt, service merchandise had no reason left to exist. It closed for good in 2002. The conveyor belt lost to the delivery truck, which is a strange way to go, beaten by a bigger version of your own trick. And somewhere, there must be a warehouse full of those little pencils. I would genuinely like to know where they went. Number 6. Marshall Field's, Chicago's Cathedral. Give the lady what she wants, that was the motto, and Marshall Field's meant it. This store invented things stores still live on. The bridal registry started here. The bargain basement started here. The idea that the customer is always right. Fields helped write that into American life. Kids grew up on Frango mints and lunch under the great Tiffany dome in the Walnut Room. And Marshall Field's never went broke. That's the twist. It was healthy when Macy's bought it in 2006 and simply changed the name, and Chicago has never fully forgiven it. Walk into that same building today, and it says Macy's on the door, but the great clock still hangs on the corner and the Walnut Room still serves lunch. The store is gone. You can still eat inside its ghost. Number 7. Wanamaker's. And here's the one I promised you. John Wanamaker of Philadelphia built what many call America's first true department store, a place so grand it had a pipe organ the size of a house, and one of the first stores anywhere lit with electric lights. But his real invention was smaller than a postage stamp. Before Wanamaker, stores had no set prices. You haggled, and strangers got cheated. Wanamaker believed every customer should pay the same fair price, so he attached a little slip of paper to each item with the price written on it. The price tag. He invented the price tag. Wanamaker's The Store faded away in the 1990s, absorbed and renamed until nothing was left. But every single price tag on every shelf in every store on Earth, that's his headstone. You touched one this week. Now you know whose name is on it. Tell me in the comments which store your family was loyal to, because every town had its own answer, and I want to hear yours. If this took you back to a Saturday inside one of those big bright stores, stick around and subscribe. This is the place where we remember together.